Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'd like to welcome you to the Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. And it brings me great pleasure to introduce to you Raymond Fallah Bombo. And let me tell you a little bit about Raymond. Raymond is a renowned humanitarian, an advocate, a peace builder, and an influential figure in Liberia and internationally. He is the country's director for Wings for Life International, a nonprofit that works in incarcerated people and those at risk of being incarcerated. Over the last decade, he has been actively contributing to peace and stability in Liberia, as well as providing access to resources to empower communities to better manage difficult situations. From his roots in Bomi County, Liberia, Mr. Bombo is the chairman of the Youth and Children Support Network, which aims to support and empower young people to build strong communities. Prior to his role at Wings for Life International and the Youth and Children Support Network, Mr. Bombo was extensively involved with the peace building in Liberia. His efforts in contributing to obtaining stability in the region in post-conflict Liberia cannot be overlooked. I welcome Mr. Bombo. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you again. Thank you, Nari.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. You know, to be a humanitarian, to be a peace builder is no small feat. And to actively take place or take a position and participate in your country's rebuilding of peace is huge. And I immediately want to, and am drawn to go to, talk to us a little bit about what peace building meant to you, what you saw in the vision of what was taking place in Liberia, and why you were compelled to take an active role.
Thank you, Inalia, for such a wonderful question. Interestingly, I was here and I was quote unquote unfortunate, unfortunately, to have experienced the war, you know, and how difficult it was for people that were here at the time. Being a child in the early 90s, I was just around the age 10 when the war came. So it was such a frustrating thing. We experienced a lot of adversity that took place, and the trauma that it carries is something huge, that impact us, tremendously. And because of that, and all of the experiences I had during the war, when I grew up and realized that there were a proliferation of arms, all around, and how we could come and to contribute so that we can sustain the peace of our country. That's how I got involved, with the issue of peace building through a network, that will help, build the minds of the youth and disabuse that the arm is the best way, to survive, so to speak, because many youth thought survivability depends on holding an arm and killing someone or forcefully taking something from out of them. That was the order of the day. So that actually pushes me to get involved with peace building.
And I want our audience to really understand, because you kind of just say, yes, the trauma of war, but my father fought in the United States in World War II, okay, because he was born very early in life. My father was born in 1919, so he served in World War II. And as a child, I remember my dad waking up in the middle of the night, turning on every light in the house. And I'm like, Dad, what's going on? Because it woke me up, you know, every light's on in the house. And the trauma that he experienced when he shared with me some of the stories of war and how they imprinted in his life that he'll never forget. I don't think that there's anything that can really prepare you to survive that kind of trauma, but we do. And I just want to emphasize how important it is to understand that when people are moved by that kind of trauma, it's very serious, and that it really brings forward a part of you inside that you can't explain to anybody else that says, we have to be better than this. We have to be better people than this. We have to be better citizens than this. And we have to create a world that is tolerable and tolerant.
Mhm.
And that people don't get that piece of it. Am I falling along the lines of what you might feel? Because this is what I got from my father when working with him and talking to him, and the stories of the trauma that he experienced. You know, now they call it post-traumatic stress syndrome. You can give it any name
Yeah.
that you want to give it, but that
Yeah.
that motivator and that drive of what's behind what you just said is powerful.
Yes, you know that it's a very, very serious issue. Like you just spoke about post-traumatic stress, you know, that's something that's not just about me, but it's about the overall population. That flashback keep coming, you know, where you are working with your family and you are asked out of them to come and be killed in front of your entire family, and they are asked to sit there and watch you being killed while they laugh. It's a must that you laugh. So those are things we experience during the war. You know, we had this tribal conflict, you know, that lasted for years. So our war lasted from the 90s to 2003, 14 years of civil conflict. I'm telling you. So that PTSD, you know, is stayed within me, and not just me, but in the overall. There are a lot
Yes.
of people that goes through the post traumatic stress, you know, and stuff like that. So these are things we do not want our youth that are coming up to experience, because we know what we saw. You know, we
Yes.
know how devastating the war was. It wasn't like, you know, a war. We understand war doesn't have rules, you know, so to speak. But realistically, there should be rules that you should not kill your enemy when they surrender. But it wasn't in that case.
Right.
So it was very, very hard, even if, you know, a tribal war. It was a civil conflict, but and being a tribal war, you know, and we saw a lot of things that went on that we cannot just explain everything.
Right. So
Yeah.
here it is, you've gone through this conflict and this trauma. What is it within one's person that brings that vulnerability of that trauma forward to say, I have to build peace. I have to actively participate, because the tendency is to withdraw. The tendency is like, I've had enough. I don't want to deal with any of this. Like, it
Mhm.
stopped. You leave my world alone.
So, so growing up as a youth, I know, yes, I experienced the trauma, but I had this tendency, I had something inside of me that wanted to do this, that saw the need that even, I mean, not counting on war, but, you know, growing up as a youth, I saw people that their life was on the other side, you know. So my intention growing up as a youth was to get engaged with building the capacity of the youth and see how they can become, productive citizens. This is not just about the war, but this is a passion that's within me, and the war just stirred out that. So
Yeah.
I became more motivated to do what I'm doing nowadays.
Yes. And they
Yeah.
also say that I have the saying, dream a beautiful dream or you will be dreamt, right? Which is if you don't hold a vision for yourself, then you end up doing what other people perceive you to do versus doing what you are known and brought here to do, and instead of doing your own purposeful work. So you hold a dream for a peaceful world, and your life becomes a walk to that vision. So take us through that walk a little bit of post-war. And now you're decided that you're going to bring peace and you're going to participate. Where did your journey take you? Tell us about your journey to and where you ended it.
So, so basically, let me give you a little history about how I started this army endeavors I'm into right now. So I started wins from the inside. It grew up from the inside. So in 2009, that is after our war, and we elected the first female president in the continent of Africa. I got involved with, this repair of computers and stuff like that. And there was a time we had this issue, and I mean, someone got involved and took away someone's property, unknown to me, and I have to get involved with that, and the person ended up going to court, and I was sent to jail. Yes.
Mm,
So while in the prison, then I started to see people being there for years
mm,
for years without trial. Being there for years, no medical supplies.
mm.
They do not have yet no treatment when they are ill. A lot of them die. I met people uh, that were overcrowded in a room. For instance, a room that is meant for just two people hosted up to seven, sometimes eight. And they have to sleep in shift. So you have to wait. Your fellow inmate lie down for a while, and you awake him, and then you go there to lie down. So that's how it works. So
Okay.
all of that, and all of the people I met in prison were of youth, and they were there for little or nothing. Some were there for even less than $5 US, and they have spent years without trial. They weren't treated well. They weren't eating. You know, they were living where feces are. So it was so sad. I spent 3 days there, but that pushes me. That tells me that no, this is an inhumane situation. People cannot live like this. A human should not live like this, despite whatever they did. They may have committed a worse crime, but they cannot be treated like this. Moreover, they were all mixed. There were nothing like distinction. You have female, you have juveniles, you have adults in the same building or separate cells. So I was shocked. I didn't know. I expected there should be a separate institution for each of them.
Right.
The
Right.
juveniles have separate, but it wasn't like that. And it is not still like that. It's still the same. The juveniles, the adults, female, they are all in one place but separate cells. So the little one there is influenced by the bigger one. Sometimes you sit and discuss your crime, and someone say, "Oh, you came here for this little one." So when you go out, do the bigger one, because jail is jail. So if that person is opportune to come on the outside, he already learned something new. He says, "Okay, I'm going to do the bigger one," and he does that. They come back, and a lot of them I met were in the string door stuff. They were recidivists. They were back and forth. Yeah, coming to jail in no time, they out, the next time they in. And when you ask them, why is this happening? It tells you, when I come on the outside, I do not have a place to stay. I do not have a job to do, and the list, I'm stigmatized. So I said, well, okay, while I'm here, let me see what I can do, because I had this connection with the justice system. I used to work with the public defenders. So okay, let me make some calls, and we started going back and forth in my room. People begin to leave. Yeah, we help people. I was there, and I helped, make the connection. Within the 3 days, when I left, those people, a lot of them left the room as well because of my
Wow.
influence. Yeah. So
Wow.
I said, what? This should be my calling. This should be my calling. Yes. Now the war is over. We have to sustain the peace. And how can we do that? Is to empower the youth, is to empower those that feel deserted, those that feel abandoned. We need to empower them. We need to give them the courage and tell them that you can do better. This is not the end of you. A lot of people you see drinking alcohol and doing other things, they feel frustrated. They think that is the end of them. They cannot go further than that. So they need a motivation. So that's how I started Wings. So I started Wings, not with the name Wings, but started Wings just, as an advocate group, and started to advocate for people in prison. Then I
Okay.
met, yeah, that was how I met this connection, this international connection with one in Edith Sweet, who happens to be, who was then the executive director for Wings for Life International. And we started this conversation back and forth. And finally, in 2018, we were asked to open the Liberian chapter, and I opened that, registered it, and we started going from there. Yeah.
Phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Oh my goodness. So this advocacy, what does it take for you administratively to be able to advocate for these youth? What type of work is involved? Because we hear this, we hear like what you do, but a lot of people want to be able to help or even help from the outside. What is it that supports this effort? What is it that what procedural organizational type of things do you have to go through are the biggest hurdles that you have to face?
So many a time people will say finance, but you know, just by getting people that will help with caution aspect, like you are doing, you know, that alone motivates me. That tells me that I'm chosen, that someone out there cares about me, and that care, I will extend it to the others as well. It is actually a challenge to run a non-for-profit, most especially in Africa, because it is not that Africans are not good at giving, but many of them do not have jobs. Yes. So it hinders most of our work, because of lack of finance. You have to go out of prison, you have to do contact tracing, uh, community wide, and as well as the code areas, because Many of them go to jail without even a record. So you have to twist that, and that requires money. You know, when you have that information, you have to go to a group that is responsible. I'm not a lawyer, so I have to find a pro bono lawyer that we can give something minimum and say, okay, this is the overall charge, but we can pay this because we are a not-for-profit. Can you help us get this person out? Most especially the ones that are there with lesser offense. So we do that. And all of that requires transportation, requires some source of funding. And when they are out, one of the key things we try to do, because the recidivism rate in our country is so high, is at 89% of those that goes to prison, come out of prison, goes right back. So the rate of recidivism is very high. So because of that, we try to see how we can reduce that, how we can sustain them from, not getting involved with criminal activities. So for those ones that read and write, we put them in a free computer institution, computer school, computer training, not a school, but it's a training where we teach them the basic of computer. We teach them office, office related work like Word, Access, Excel, yeah, Publisher. Because a lot of schools in Liberia, so to speak, do not have their own computer for them to do, or computer related stuff. So if you have that skill, that could be a source of livelihood or, an income for you, so to speak. So we teach them the basic skill so that they can sustain themselves, so that they will not get involved with crime. We couple that with counselors. We have the church involved. Yes, so we have church involved. We make sure before you come to our program, you must be involved with a church or some religious. We have religious tolerance, so it doesn't have to be just a church, but get involved with some religious thing, and we're going to be checking on you, whether it's the mosque you go to, whether it's the church, or we want to make sure you are involved with something. Religions, if you follow religion, it helps to really guide your life. So we make sure you get involved with that. Then we support you with some ideas that will keep you on the outside as well. So it all boils down to money. Yeah, it requires funding, and we are extremely challenged. Yeah, with that.
Understood. And I'm so grateful that you don't allow that to deter you. So when you teach the youth, what is it that you're sharing with them to motivate them and inspire them for their own empowerment, their own agency that they can execute? What is it that they need to hear the most?
So in most instances, when you are talking to people, it's always good to tell your own story. So I start with my own story by telling them how I got involved with crime, because I went to jail, tell the story. And that tells, say, oh, yeah, this man is like us. So they feel like, I'm part of them. So if I can make a change, they can also make a change. So that alone stimulates them and motivates them, Then we get people involved with them that will help to keep talking to them as well. That this is not the ultimate way of life. There are other means of sustainability, and we list a couple of them. So some of them, that do not have the technical know-how of reading and writing, we try to push them to other places. We have language, those that repair cars, the mechanic. We have language carpenters. So some of them that do not have that means of reading and writing, that we can train, with the computer skills. We talk to those people and say, okay, can you help host these people, and we can pay a minimum amount. So if yes, then we start the conversation of finding a sponsor that will help with something small, at least maybe feed them. Like they live on like at most $2 a day, at most. So we talk about how we can feed them a day. We talk about how we can pay their fees while they are there, and getting the skill set, and just like that. That's how they feel motivated and love them. So the national recidivism rate is 89%, and our own recidivism rate is at 4%. So that shows how much we are working.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how do you get your trainers? How do you get the people who are teaching these business skills, these computer skills, these various skills that are working with the youth? And are they somebody that you have to come in and train so that they can understand the mindset of the kids the youth that they're working with? I mean, tell us a little bit about the programs.
So basically we go through a vetting process and see if, we train them, just like you said, we train them, but basically in our program, and they already have what they have, that is the skill set to train our people in those skills that are required, like the carpentry and other things, but we also try to train them in our own way so that they understand how to deal with these people. So that's how it is. And then we go through the vetting. We have a board of directors that is involved with the program. It's not just us, other people, are involved as well.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal. And this contribution back to humanity, I just want to applaud you. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of the hearts of all of us who are out here who want to impact the youth. I work with the youth in terms of speaking and motivating and giving incentive and coaching. And again, when I see someone whose work is directly contributing to humanity each and every day that they work, you have to be celebrated. You just have to be acknowledged publicly how special you are, how important it is. And God gives us the experiences in our life that drive us to our purpose sometimes. And I'm so sorry that yours had to be so traumatic, but I'm so grateful that you arrived. Because
thank you.
without those experiences, you would not be here. And, I call you like a light worker, right? We as light workers. And I'm going to tell you why I call you a light worker, because it's like a lighthouse, right?
Okay.
You're a beacon of light. You're saying, come here, come here, come here. And the storm is all around you. The storm is all around you, but you're constantly flashing that light. And those who choose to come out of the dark of the storm into the light, I'm here. You're telling them, I'm here. Let me help you. But those who choose to stay in the storm, there's nothing you can do. But the thing about it, Raymond, is that the blessing that you are, you will never know the true impact of all of the work that you're doing, because it has a ripple effect. And it has you have a way of impacting the youth, but you will never know the impact that youth then has on the next youth, the next, and the next, the friends, the better decisions that are made, the better choices that are made. That moment and the precipice of the decision, where do I go left and do I go right? And I've gone right 50 times in my life, and I know where that leads, but it's what I know, versus going left for the first time in my life and going, I dare to find out something new, and I'm just going to test this way because I already know where the right road leads. And that's something to be so proud of, and that you bring to fruition. So I just want to publicly acknowledge you, because you're like the unsung hero that people need to know about, and that they don't know, and that also needs to be supported. Do you want to say anything? Because I can talk about you. I want to tell you what I see.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you said. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, no, you go on. That's
Okay,
okay.
okay. So I want people to understand where they can reach you at Wings for Life. Tell us a little bit more about Wings for Life. If they wanted to get involved, if you're a lawyer, please
Yes.
come talk to us. If you want international experience, come talk to you. So tell us a little bit more about Wings for Life International and how people can participate or get involved or at least connect with you.
So basically, Wins is a non-for-profit. We started Wins in 2018 in Africa, and in the US it started in 1995. So it's been an old-time organization, but we started this in Liberia just quite recently. So we are ongoing. But our work basically is about transforming life to break the generational cycle of incarceration. We do not want to see people going to jail. We want to see them more on the outside and see how we can all work to better this ice, the globe. Yeah, you see. So we work with youth. We work with the family in general. It's not just because the family is a unique unit, and everyone is from that identical place. The lawyer, the president, the criminal, whoever is from a family. So we want to impact the family, and we run something called the Family Day. And during the Family Day, we talk about like PTSD. We talk about adverse childhood experiences, ISIS. We talk about how family can communicate. We use something called the 40 developmental assets. So the 40 developmental assets is a unique tools. You can make a research on that. It's very, very good. Even for your program, if you use the 40 assets, is very unique. So, but that's not all about it. There are people that are embracing that needs help. Why it's true, we're trying to reduce the number that go in. We also want to get those that in the inside, get them out so that it can be productive as well. Because whether we love it or not, they're going to become our neighbors.
Right.
They're not going to be there forever. And think about the impact. Think about when it come outside, what's going to become of them.
Right.
Yeah. So we try to build it in a way that they won't be harmful. See, so that it can be productive and self-reliance. So we actually need, like you were calling a lawyer. Yes, we need people. If you're a lawyer out there, you want some international experience, you can come and volunteer with us. Yeah. Whether it's a training, you can train us not to be a lawyer, but to have the technical know-how, how to proceed with some of these issues. We got to show like Wins on the Air, you was on Wins on the Air, and sometimes we invite a lawyer that will come and just tell us, those legal issues, how to deal with them, and we call people from diverse background, people from different professional backgrounds that will come and, talk on these issues. Well, I know next week we're going to be having Mevina for, I don't know what you do Mevina for.
Yes, Melvina Ford. Yes, I know her very well.
Yeah.
Very
All
well.
right. Yeah. So she wants to
Phenomenal
talk.
woman.
Yeah, she wants to talk about parenting and just like that. So we need people from diverse background that can come in and help with the work. We cannot do it alone. There's a collective, stuff, So but we are open. Our website is there. I don't know whether I can share that here.
Just say it
So,
now, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure that it is listed for
okay.
everyone.
So it's winsfleet.org. Winsfleet. Wins like WINGS. Yeah. FLI.org. That's our website. You can go there and search the library section. You will see all of the tremendous and wonderful work we've been doing over the past. And you will see our schedule for new ones as well. Yeah. But we want the involvement of everyone. Any way you can help us, we We highly appreciate it.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. And I love, I call it the infinite way where spirituality meets humanity. And you are a perfect example of that, where your heart led you and you directly contribute to humanity. And we, again, thank you for that. So this has been Raymond Fallah Bomba, Wings for Life International, Liberia. I am so grateful to have had this time with you. Thank you so much. And is there anything that you would like to share with our audience before we close that just is on your heart that you'd like to share?
So specifically, I just want to applaud you, you know, yeah, for giving me this opportunity to be a part to share what I have in my mind. I want to say thank you into our audience. I want to say thank you for listening. I know you're going to have the time to listen to it. Yeah, listen to the show and always be around. Contact me when there's a need. If you have any reason to contact me. Don't say no. This should not be a reason to call to contact Raymond. Better still, you can get to Enolia, and she knows how to get things. So thank you again, Enolia, for such a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing a part of you that was so very special. We truly appreciate you sharing your story. And this has been another episode of The Infinite Way. So we thank you and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.